Students, we have been learning a paper 6, that is computational botany, for your semester 3rd. From this computational botany, the unit 2nd, sampling and its type, we have to study. So out of that one, what is sample, what is sampling, these things are known to you. Then also sample is nothing but the part of a selected part of the population, that is sample. The process of collection of a sample is known as a sampling. Student, as I have said to you, sample is a selected part of a population. Then what is the population? So here we can find population is nothing but a group that's studied by the researcher. Population is nothing but the group that's studied by the researcher, that is known as a population. Now already I have told you sampling is the process of collection of part of population, process of collection of a part of population or selecting part of a population is known as a sample. Again, I will give you example. Suppose we are having about 100 rose flower plant, isn't it? 100 rose flower plant, but we want to sample from that one. Then we have to select 10 plants out of that one, and that 10 plant, in the sense part of 100 flowers, rose flowers plant. 10 rose flower plants are the part of 100 rose flower plants. So that is nothing but that 10 plant is nothing but the sample. But process of collection of that 10 rose plant or selecting that 10 number of plants from the population, process of selection of a part of the population is known as a sampling. Now what is sample? Again, the number of plants in a selected group. As already I have told you, how many rose flowers are there in a selected group? That is 10. So 10 is the sample. Now what is the sampling frame? Sampling frame is nothing but the list of individuals or plants included into the sample. List of individuals or plants included in the sample. That is nothing but sample frame. Now what is sampling technique? Sampling technique refers to the technique or procedure used to select the number of samples. Sampling technique is nothing but the procedure used to select the number of samples. Friends, once again I have given you idea about the terminology, that is what is population, what is sample, what is sampling, what is sampling frame or sampling technique. That you have to keep in mind. You have to write this definition, meaning of this terminology, which will help you to understand actually the topic, that is a sample and sampling. Now, stages in the selection of sample. Which are the steps? Which are the stages? One by one are there. in the selection of a sample or collection of a sample. So here we can find the stages in the selection of sample. First one, define the target population. First of all, you will have to define the target of the population, exact population. You will have to decide from which you are going to select the sample. This is the first most important step of or stage in the selection of a sample. Next stage is selected sampling frame. Select a sampling frame. The sampling frame you have to select, then plan the procedure for the selecting sample unit. You have to make the plan, isn't it? Plan the procedure, which procedure you are going to use for the selecting sample units from the target population. Then determine sample size. Determine the sample size in the sense how many there could be the member in that sample. That also you have to decide. You want to 10 or 20, whatever sort of the things are there. That is up to you, up to the researcher. That researcher will have to determine the sample size. Then select actual sampling units, isn't it? This is also second last stage in the selection of a sample. Last one, conduct the field work, is the last stage. Once again, I'm going to repeat the things here. First of all, you have to define the target population, then select the sampling frame, then plan the procedure for selecting. This is a third stage. Now determine the sample size, is a fourth one. Fifth one, select actual sampling units, and last one, that is a conduct field work. Now, what is need and advantages of sampling? And then we have to get idea about disadvantage of the sampling. We have to get idea about right now the need and advantages of sampling. First, need. Because there is a large population, huge size population is there, many number of individuals are there, many number of items are there, and that we cannot be able to reach up to each and every atom for the study. So there is a need first, that is nothing but the whenever large number of population is there, we have to select the sampling. There is a need. Is a conveniently covered, isn't it? Whenever large population is there, either we never reaches up to the each individual, but if we will select the sample in a proper way, then that group, that sample acts as a representative of the whole population. Usually when data is unlimited, sampling method, sampling we have to use when and when there is a data is unlimited. Again, cost is very less. It required, not necessary to reach up to the each and every individual of the population, but only few select from that one. Very easy to reach up to that one. So there is a way have to say that it may spend less money on that one. It may spend less money on that one. Then less time consumed. So it never consumes more time. In a short time we reaches up to the conclusion or complete our study. Again, accuracy of the results, whatever the, if we use very interesting or very keen sampling method, then results definitely will be the accurate we will get from that one. Then what are the advantages of sampling? This point, that is a time saving, economical, accuracy is there. Again, in the methodology we will use proper, then accuracy is there, and covers the size of population, isn't it? First is time saving, economical, accuracy is there, and also it covers the size of the population. That's why the sampling is having a advantages. These are the advantages. Now what are the disadvantages? What are the disadvantages of a sampling method? First one, biasness. In the sense, most of time we or the researcher commit the mistake of doing a wrong things or partiality might be done by that fellow, and that is nothing but the biasness, isn't it? Biasness आपल्याला माहिती आहे. समजा एखादा क्रिकेटचा सामना चालला आहे, अंपायर एखाद्या मुलाचे वडील आहेत आणि मुलगा बॅटिंग करतोय, तर त्याला रनआउट देताना, त्याला स्क्रीज आउट देताना ते थोडेसे बायस राहतात. का तर ते वडील आहेत त्याचे म्हणून. दॅट इज बायसनेस, पार्शियल राहतात. स्किल्ड पर्सन्स रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द सॅम्पलिंग. आयरी गैरी माणसं घेऊन चालणार नाही. यू हॅव टू टेक द स्किल्ड पर्सन्स फॉर द सॅम्पलिंग, अँड वन्स सॅम्पलिंग इज ॲक्युरेट, डेफिनेटली we will get the results also accurate. Selection of a true representative of the sample. For example, difficult to select the right representative of the sample. म्हणजे the sampling is having a its difficulty is that difficult to select the right representative of the sample. मग तो घेतलेला सॅम्पल हा त्या संपूर्ण पॉप्युलेशनचं रिप्रेझेंटेशन करत असेल, काही जी पॉप्युलेशनमध्ये कॅरेक्टर आहेत तीच त्या सिलेक्ट केलेल्या सॅम्पलमध्ये असतील असं सांगता येत नाही खात्रीने. सो दॅट इज अ डिसॲडव्हान्टेजेस. डिफिकल्टी इन द फाइंडिंग सॅम्पल. सॅम्पल घेणं कठीण जातं कधी, ज्यावेळेला टू स्मॉल पॉप्युलेशन, अतिशय कमी पॉप्युलेशन आहे आणि त्याच्यातून जेव्हा सॅम्पल सिलेक्ट करायचे त्यावेळेला डिफिकल्टी. आणि हेट्रोजिनियस पॉप्युलेशन म्हणजे पॉप्युलेशन इज नॉट युनिफॉर्म. म्हणजे तुम्हाला सांगितलं जावा आणि बागेतनं झाडांची उंची मोजून या, तर तिथे गेल्यानंतर तुम्हाला चिक्कूची झाडं, आंब्याची झाडं, वडाची झाडं किंवा इतर कुठली झाडं अशी बघितल्यानंतर दॅट पॉप्युलेशन इज नोन ॲज हेट्रोजिनियस पॉप्युलेशन. आणि हेट्रोजिनियस पॉप्युलेशनच्या बाबतीमध्ये सॅम्पल घेताना डिफिकल्ट होऊन जातं. मीन्स वी हॅव टू फेस द प्रॉब्लेम्स. Now, what are the types of a sampling? What are the types of sampling? Friends, we have got idea about terminology that are the, in case of sampling, in case of population, in case of sampling frame, isn't it? So all terminology we have studied. Now we have to study the types of a sampling, most important point. So there are main two types of the sampling. Sampling चे किती प्रकार आहेत? दोन आहेत. कुठला? रँडम अँड नॉन रँडम. that are the main two types of the sampling are there. But again, first random sampling is there. Of that random sampling again divided into two, that is systematic sampling and stratified sampling. Systematic sampling and stratified sampling. Once again I am going to tell you, there are the two main types of the sampling. First one is a random, second one is a non-random, isn't it? And this random sampling, first sampling type of a first type of a sampling is random sampling, second is non-random. Out of again random sampling is divided into two sampling type, that is systematic sampling and second one is stratified one. Again non-random sampling is divided into two sampling, that is a purpose sampling and quota sampling. Purpose sampling and quota sampling. With this, my friend, I will say thanks to you. And what you have to do, you have to write these notes, go through the textbook, go through the reference books, and try to understand the exact meaning of each and every simple, complicated, or unknown terminology. And once you do that one, definitely you will be able to reach up to your goal. You can understand whatever taught by the teacher too. And with this, my friends, I would like to say thank you very much.